well, thanks a lot for everyone for joining and also to the HyperNest team for arranging this beautiful podcast, this beautiful get-together. Today, the big topic, it is one of the most debated in the cryptoverse and outside. So we're going to discuss about artificial intelligence and crypto. So we're going to touch on the both topics and also to the interconnection between these two worlds. And because we are so passionate about it, today we have two ultra specialists, two heavy hitter, in the AI world, that they're going to help us to navigate this complex and ever-evolving new dimension of reality called artificial intelligence. So let me introduce Tony and Xiaochen. I'm not gonna, speak for them, but I will give them the possibility to introduce them, and also they will tell us a little bit how they got in touch with this with artificial intelligence and what they're doing now. So maybe Tony, you can start.
Sure. Hey everyone. Thanks Alessio and HyperNest for hosting us. I've been in AI not so long. I've been 2 years, but these 2 years were like very intense. And funny enough, my kind of getaway drug to AI was crypto. 2 years ago, I was developing my blockchain startup, a game, and I needed to create some images. And that's when DALL-E was released, one of the first versions. I got early access. I got what I needed in literally a couple of minutes, though before that I would expect it like hours of talking with freelancers and spending like weeks on discussions. And like that was my first AI aha moment. And since then I was like 24/7 in the space, developing solutions, researching, basically trying to try pretty much every new technology. And like I'm personally specialized in large language models, so everything around them, all the frameworks, technologies, I'm an expert in that. I can't say I'm an AI expert in general, because there are obviously people more knowledgeable and who are much more time in the space. But everything, this new kind of conscious being created, called LLM, I'm 100% there.
Okay, that's great. Well, thanks a lot for the intro, Tony. Unmute yourself. I think in the Twitter space I also see you that you're still muted, and Xiaochen is only a listener, by the way. So I'm not sure where we are also sending this type of information to Twitter. But apart from that, I think please go on, Xiaochen.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Alessio and Tony, and my name is Xiaochen, and I'm the Executive Director and the Chief AI Officer of AI 2030, and also CEO of FinTech for Good. And for AI 2030, that's our goal is really trying to mainstream responsible AI by 2030, and the mission is through empowering members, and then when they can achieve responsible AI leadership, and then we can just achieve our goal through them. And currently we have around 800 members across 18 countries, and majority of them are senior AI experts, have been in the space for long, and then we build our responsible AI framework, which includes 6 pillars, and fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy preservation, stability, safety, and security. Those are the core things that we, define responsible AI, and we believe that, any AI need to be responsible. And before that, and I was building blockchain ventures and through FinTech for Good, and also served as the global head of innovation at a cloud company, and where we help our customers to managing assets, managing risk, managing data, managing stakeholders via emerging technology like AI, blockchain, and metaverse. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. It is beautiful to see how different people enter in the space from different venue or for different reason potentially. But before we enter a little bit more deeper in the topic, for me the first question, the first suggested topic is really, what do you think is a good categorization for AI? Because, well, artificial intelligence is almost like human intelligence. So it's very complex, it's very articulated, it's very nuanced. And I think that currently artificial intelligence became so famous mostly for generative AI related to stable diffusion and language LLM, basically. Because before AI, when I was dealing with AI, so in our previous accelerator, well, AI was not cool. No one was talking about it. There was some AI related to federated learning, some AI related to computer vision, some AI that was more rule-based, right? AI was not cool only 5 years ago. So what do you think is AI? What is a good categorization for artificial intelligence today?
To me or to Tony?
To both of you, whoever want to take it first, and the other one can also then, add.
Sure, I can jump in, and I think that when we talk about the AI interest from the market, and I would definitely one key differentiation is AI and Gen AI, where that's AI has been important topic in the startup community, in the amongst the big tech, amongst the large corporate for a long time, and a lot of my customers like central banks, large commercial entities or commercial banks, they have been apply AI for fraud detection, for also machine learning, and build models to just generate insights. They have apply this kind of non-gen AI in the business for a long time with a lot of success. And I think the reason why now we from the blockchain community feel a lot of new interest coming to AI is really after the introduction of ChatGPT and other large language model related Gen AI application. The reason why this create a new excitement is how close it is AI to each users. And before it was at a corporate level, and then users themselves are not involved, not empowered. And with Gen AI, and the capability of AI is being felt on a daily basis and every second in any part of the world, where that's no matter you are creators, you are a business person, or you are teachers, you are using Gen AI to just becoming better in doing your job. And that itself is so powerful, and where that's naturally, that is one way, that's why this is becoming, so exciting. The second part, especially for the blockchain community, is that because of Gen AI and a lot of excitement from the investors go to AI, and blockchain community feel the pain. And at the beginning, when I was just trying to just bring the AI community and the blockchain community all the topic together. I was talking about AI blockchain convergence, and I got a lot of pushback from the blockchain community that you are helping the AI community to just get more money out of or more investment out of the blockchain community. So then we are not into that. And then I also have great blockchain experts telling me that there's no convergence, it will not converge. And now from that time till now, and it's very clear that many of the blockchain companies, and then they one way or another are including AI, especially Gen AI, into their offering. And there's acceptance from the basic. This is a wave which you cannot avoid, and why not that we be part of it as more investment go in there anyway, and then as a strategy to coping with the trend. Naturally, you have a lot more excitement now. The third part I want to talk about is really blockchain and AI can really work together really well. When you look at what problem they solve, AI solve problem mostly, especially, around efficiency. And through leveraging AI that you can just really, automate the system and create this personalized service, improve, customer experience. And while that's AI, what is the problem? People may not trust AI. And because of AI and where that's, you don't know whether the information you hear or read are, authentic from the right source from the real people. And that just, a lot of people from Gen AI, that's, you get an answer, you don't know whether, they are hallucination or they are not. So there are a lot of things around the trust. And what is blockchain? Blockchain is the trust machine and bring the trust, to AI to solve AI's problem. And that itself is where, blockchain can help AI. And what is the, the core challenge for blockchain? And that is the user experience. And, who want to just remember all the, 16 code, and then if you lose your code and then you lose your access to your wallet, finally, no matter how much in that wallet, nobody can help you. And, that's the kind of user experience really just prevent for, blockchain to further adopted by the wider community. So if we bring AI into that to just provide that personalized service, and also using AI to just address how to just, set up and deploy nodes and all that different decentralized service, enhancing the speed, enhancing the efficiency, reducing the cost, improve the, customer experience. Naturally, that this will help blockchain community for their adoption. So as you can see, these two technology really, from essence work really well potentially. It's just, we need to see from the blockchain community more efforts, more innovation coming into that. And then in the near future, we don't need to say this is, potential. These are reality, and reality can be already just, realized by these kind of innovators. And then how much investment go into that and how exciting this space is.
Interesting, Xiaochen, that you mentioned about categorizing AI by function, like generative AI is about efficiency. I really like this approach, because we obviously can talk about AI in terms of technological categorization, but I don't think it will be neither relevant to the audience nor interesting. But in terms of function, I'm 100% with you on that. And what's interesting is that, the generative AI made AI closer to the user, but it also made AI closer to developers. So right now, any developer can take all these APIs of OpenAI, Claude, all these frameworks, and just a matter of hours or maybe sometimes days, create a okay, maybe simple product, but that simple product 5 years ago would have need a whole team of AI developers and like month of development. So the generative AI really cut the cost of developing solutions based on AI. For me, generative AI is, it's about efficiency, but it's about a very specific type of efficiency. If we're talking about large language models, it's about efficiency of access to information. So it's basically a new interface to information, because right now, internet contains like information no human can possibly consume in like 100 lifetimes. But part of that problem is not only our capacity to kind of remember, but also the tools to find the right information in the right format and in a limited time. So basically what generative AI and specifically large language models do, they give you access to any information in a matter of seconds or sometimes minutes, maybe, no matter how you ask. Like right now, before generative AI, we were using search engines. And the results we get first are very dependent on the query we make, on the search query. And the second, we'll still need to sift through dozens, sometimes hundreds of pages to find the exact piece of information we need. We don't get the direct response to our question. Right now with generative AI, it's like completely different. You ask a question, you get a response in like for exactly what you need, and not like dozens of pages, some of which are like spam, and probably now most of which are spam. So I think like it doesn't really matter now how we categorize AI, because the word AI will be ambiguous for a long time still, but because of the popularity of the large language models and diffusion models for images, a lot of people come to that kind of general term AI, and then they start to specialize, like it was in crypto. So like even when I joined crypto in 2017, crypto was already a pretty loaded term. Now it's like 100% more loaded, but there are some obviously drawbacks of that, but I think there are much more benefits, because this is a brand, both crypto, blockchain, and AI, and people kind of new blood, new talent come to the space, and that's why these technologies and these communities evolve so fast. Because yes, there is a hype, but that hype brings a lot of talented people into the community.
Okay, thanks a lot to both. I think you highlighted different perspectives about AI, but so interesting, so fascinating, and it's also a little bit of reflection of this AI that somehow is entering in everything, starting from the tools that we use every day. Now AI is in your email, is in Notion, is in your phone, in the future will be also in your washing machine, in your hair dryer, and so on and so forth. So this is a technology that by definition is becoming pervasive, so it's entering everywhere. So,
and it's crazy to think that we haven't even started. As crazy as it seems right now, like every next year we won't recognize the world like a year ago. It will be so much different.
I do believe it. I completely believe it. And I think that on the other side, we will also, I think we can overestimate, as usual, the effect short term, and underestimate the long-term effect, right? Going now one level deeper, because we discussed a little bit of AI in general, a little bit of interconnection between AI and crypto already. But in your opinion, what are today, not tomorrow, today, the 1, 2, 3 most important use case that AI, empowered? So what are we doing today with AI that it was not possible in the past, that it's creating a super meaningful difference?
Yeah, I could start, and one thing everyone already benefit a lot is really the AI agent, and where that's you can remember that if you use banks in the past, if you want to call banks for customer service, and then it's just go there, and then you how frustrated that you only want you repeat yourself as representative. The reason why it's not that you really want to talk to a human is because the call center is really bad, and where that's the robot just cannot answer any not preloaded simple question. So after you spend all the time with the robot, and the robot just cannot solve your problem. So again, it's not that they look for the human, it's because the service itself from the robot agent was really bad. And now that's with Gen AI, and I don't know that's whether you have interacted with some of the customer support service powered by Gen AI now. That's you really don't need that human, and then you feel a lot of time that human service are inferior in that sense, where that's because there that the bot itself is so powerful and give you the answer so clear and quick, and with all the links and everything. So you really the desire of talking to or reaching to that representative is reducing a lot. And also before that, is not everyone who just can the cost of having human representative are high for many. So then one way or another, many of the organizations have to use the call center to provide that, but they also understand that they are losing customer because of that. And many also service providers don't use any, because there's a cost barrier. And now that's with reduce the cost, improve the power of AI agent, and now that many service provider are able to introducing very powerful AI agent with the least cost, improving customer experience, and then that itself is really just expand from one sector to another sector. And I just finished the 1871 FinTech Innovation Lab the startup selection, and from the financial service industry, and from this cohort, and I see so many powerful AI agents which are being introduced by the startups and serving the financial service industry. And then you look at their capability. That's really just the older service just cannot compare with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The customer service is one of the big use cases for generative AI. Another one, I think, is HR operations. Basically, how it works now, companies have some internal knowledge bases. New employees get access to this knowledge bases. But the problem is, even for small and medium-sized companies, say 10, 20, 30 people, these knowledge bases are very rarely updated. So it looks like there is some connection issue. Do you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you, but there were a little bit of a slowdown, and your image was not as clear as before.
Okay, but you hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Yeah, these knowledge bases, the first big problem is that they are like outdated pretty much the next day they were created, after they were created. And it is extremely difficult to keep them up to date, first. And second thing, they still require, like a new employee will still have a lot of questions because the information is presented in a very specific way, in a very specific structure. It's very often difficult to find specific answer you're looking for, or this answer may be missing, or the person is too lazy to find the answer. And then we end up with two situations. The new employee will either stay silent and not learn important things because he is afraid to kind of lose his reputation, or he will be basically creating a more workload for his seniors, for HR people. And this is very easily automated with AI and RAG, retrieval augmented generation. Basically, I'm a bit oversimplifying it, but on a high level, it's like this. You just load that knowledge base into the vector database. You create a simple chatbot, and then you create a rule that if the question doesn't have an answer, then ping somebody responsible. So this way, all new employees have access to the same knowledge base, but they can instantly get very precise responses without the need to look for answers. Plus, the knowledge base is constantly being updated, because if I, as a new employee, ask some question that knowledge base didn't have an answer to, then the chatbot will ping, say, my senior. The senior will answer, but he will answer not just to me. He will answer to the chatbot that will automatically update the knowledge base. So we are solving two big problems here. The relevance and the up-to-dateness of the knowledge base, and also the load on like the time spent by the seniors kind of answering the questions of the new employees. Plus, the new employees actually get more questions answered because they are not afraid to ask a question. Their reputation is not on the line because they are not asking the actual person. So I think this is probably the second biggest use case after customer support. Sales is also, I think, will be big, but it's still kind of requires, I think out of all the use cases of the generative AI, sales, lead qualification or actual sales is the only one that has the most requirement for fine-tuning for the models, basically training them on your data. Because while the reasoning of the models is good enough to talk to potential customers, they were not trained on sales conversations, and sales conversation in some specific niches like industries like real estate or travel or whatever. So they can answer questions, and these questions will look good, but they won't be good in terms of sales. So sales, I think, is a big one, but this is a bit slightly more technically has slightly higher technical requirements.
Very, very, very cool. Well, thanks a lot for providing this information to dissect even the impact of these new AI models on customer support or HR and potentially sales. Maybe we should have more sales data, and potentially we will have a better sales agent. And now to go one step forward and moving more toward the interconnection between crypto and AI, where Xiaochen was already providing some important insights. So for what I am observing, the interconnection between crypto AI is happening in a very scattered way. So for example, we use AI for security, certain company like For example, Cube3, actually, one of our partners, use AI for categorizing incoming transaction to understand if these incoming transactions are actually okay or are they can actually be malicious. We use blockchain power to potentially train the large language model in a more decentralized way. I think Sarah just closed the last fundraising. So with the idea of distributing token and empowering people to help to actually train the model and do labeling and do alignment and so on and so forth is another possible interesting use case. The third one is more related in the area of deep-in, as far as I'm observing. So it's like, okay, how can we distribute the computational power? How can we get, instead of having NVIDIA GPU cluster, like the last one made of Tesla, can we make sure that everyone having a computer with a GPU strong enough can contribute to the computational necessity that we have? And for example, I think one of those projects is Render, RNDR is the ticker. So what I'm saying is that or there are data marketplace like Ocean or Fetch AI. So I've seen a lot of different, interconnection, between AI and crypto in a way that can blockchain support the creation of AI. First of all, can we get data by, blockchain system, a more collective system? So I think it's very complex and very articulated, and therefore I'm very curious to understand your perspective on that. And also I would like to know, where do you see so far the best expression of this new marriage between AI and crypto?
Yeah, and from my side, and I think there are a couple of things. Number one is that I would love to see that HyperNest can just develop AI and Web3 convergence accelerator or or incubator, because in general I see that there are a lot of potential exciting convergence can happen. And, you mentioned a few use cases, and I think there are also, beyond use case, there are some really fundamental synergy between these two. And number one is, when you look at the one of the challenge for AI is also around the availability of data. And, by 2030, and there's no data which humans just cannot generate enough data to train AI, and then finally that AI will just be trained with, for example, synthetic data or human-like type of data, and which basically AI learned from non-humans assumptions they are humans, and finally that AI will decide or just respond to human requests and based on data which is just not from human. And that is, where does data come from? How we can just address that gap? That itself, is one of the very big challenge for AI, especially for large language model related AI. And if you don't have data to train AI, and how can AI learn? And what's in the blockchain or Web3 space, and this is where that you really have a great incentive mechanism to just enable the distributed community to generate data on a daily, weekly, or hourly, minute by minute create data. And those data a lot of time, because there's an incentive around it, and naturally those data are like with great human value. And through the data related from the blockchain space to generate data for the AI industry to just having meet the data gap. I think that itself is very important. The second is, when you look at the data quality, and from the blockchain related industry, and again, that's because it's trust machine, and if you generate data cannot be tampered, and where that you have potentially, high quality data, and then those data can really create a lot of insights to learn better about human behavior, and then to give input to the AI models, and that is from the quality of data. And the third is around the infrastructure, and where that's we just completed a first phase of a report trying to just bring the Bitcoin mining related computing power to just do AI model training. And another big challenge for AI is the energy consumption, and where that's especially for large language model, and the model becoming bigger and bigger, and the energy consumption becoming bigger and bigger, and it becoming one of the key source of greenhouse gas emission, which impact global climate change. So similar to the blockchain industry, and especially for any mechanism or consensus mechanism leveraging proof of work, and then proof of work related consensus mechanism also have a larger energy consumption. So, and where that's taking Bitcoin as example, where that's the computing power was really not being used for any use cases like AI model training. It's just solving some computational problem, and then that itself has no benefit to humans or to society. It's purely just mathematical. And if we can just really introducing the AI model training, or combining the AI model training with the Bitcoin mining, and naturally that's the Bitcoin mining related computing power to come to solve some real problem, reducing carbon emission from AI model training, and while still meet the Bitcoin related incentive. And I think it will becoming win-win situation. Of course, that's whether technically how feasible, industry-wise, whether commercially viable, and whether the Bitcoin community will adopt it. And there are a lot of other questions. But just when you look at it, there's from this side, infrastructure side, beyond the use case we talked about already, and there are a lot of potential opportunities we should be exploring. And again, go back to HyperNest. I think from all the DeFi related startup coming out of HyperNest with the great success, and I think someone need to really just dive deep into give the space for the blockchain and AI innovators. Say that we are going to help you to be successful, and if you decide to do that, and I'd love to collaborate. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Thanks a lot for the incredible run through. I mean, by the way, Lobster Protocol right now is training one specific model with AI. So Lobster Protocol provides one of our setup, and they are basically building Vault, where essentially you deposit, for example, Ethereum, in the future also other assets. And I'm not gonna spoil the new feature that will be released quite soon. But then essentially their system do the magic in the background, you get the yield, everyone happy. And that's exactly what they're doing. So they are now creating new strategies using, we're not going to use LLM, probably more like machine learning and more like reinforced learning, to be more precise, reinforced learning to build new strategies that they can leave potentially off chain. So yes, thanks a lot for the assist, Xiaochen. If there is any startups that is building something in the area of finance and is using AI superpower, mixing it on chain, please guys, apply. We are looking forward to get you on board. Okay, now I pass the mic to the virtual mic to Tony, and I'm sure he has a lot to say about also this interconnection between these two worlds.
I think you guys actually mentioned most of the use case. Maybe the one I would add is the crypto gaming, because basically right now we are able to create intelligent agents instead of NPCs who actually have their own crypto and that can use that crypto in this metaverse or whatever, like games, whatever worlds. But actually, while Xiaochen, you were speaking, I got one idea. So I have a question for you. You mentioned that by 2030 we'll probably run out of tokens or data to train AI on. Does this calculation consider the data or the tokens coming from the robotics, from the androids?
Yeah, that's basically, that include everything. And so that's why, from the quite a few companies who are specialized, in synthetic data and create, robots, and then which just create, behave like a human, and then they collect the data from this robots, and then leveraging that as the real data to train AI models. That's already becoming, so that include synthetic data and data from the robot and all that. Yeah.
Interesting, because I would argue with you here, because like basically this year the robot race already started. We have I think around already 10 companies that are releasing robots. Some of them are actually already consumer ready. There are in China, there are a couple of companies that are releasing robots that cost like $10,000-$15,000. I mean, it's still expensive, but it's already something a lot of people can afford. And within the next few years, we'll have probably, I think by 2030, we'll have, if not billions, but hundreds of millions of androids in the world already operating. And on androids, they collect all modalities of data. They collect text that they hear, plus they collect intonation and all kind of speech peculiarities. They collect visual data. They collect audio data like sounds and stuff like that. And as they collect all of that together, that creates a huge number of new tokens. I agree that in terms of text tokens, we're close to being run out. But robots that are operating in the real world, they will create multitudes more tokens. And that's, I think, where blockchain comes in very handy, because you need some protocol to transfer, to pay for, to incentivize this data creation. And I think fast blockchain protocols will be, nothing basically can substitute blockchain here, because you need microtransactions, an actual financial transaction. And these will be transactions happening billions of times per second, probably. So I think this is, in the next 5 to 10 years, I think this will be the biggest convergence point of AI and blockchain. But in general, I agree, there are so many, it looks like these technologies will just become one, because there are so many points of contact potential. There are already many use cases. None of them are yet kind of have big adoption, but we just started, what you mentioned, DePIN, all the decentralized compute, decentralized storage of data, incentivizing for data, training the models, the decentralized drug. I really like this concept. There are a couple of companies doing that on the market. So yeah, I think there are too many points of contact of these two technologies to mention all of them. But I think the biggest one probably will be robotics. Specifically on androids.
Yeah, I want to just make a quick follow-up. I fully agree with you on that. when I see that the data is more as human generated data is very limited, and synthetic data, robotic generated human-like data are the way how they try to solve the problem. And there, the key problem is that whether it's a human-generated data or it's a robotic-generated data, where blockchain can really play a very important role there. And through using blockchain, you can really trace back. And then when you trace and from the compliance, from even customer preference, and then naturally that's that's how your AI model is being trained, by what kind of data, is it human, non-human, and naturally that could be part of your compliance, could be part of your communicating with your customers. But blockchain can really supporting that infrastructure. I need to jump very soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for these two overview. So one thing probably that where we all see these two things going is probably the interconnection between agents, the interaction between agents, right? So there is a strong communality between an agent and usually some guy that is in the crypto space. We both cannot have a bank account very often, right? So therefore, which is a joke, but not really. Therefore, these agents should probably use wallets in order to transact, in order to share value. So I think this, as you say, it can be one of the most, interesting aspects. But okay, Xiaochen, if you need to go, I think we can start to wrap up here, right? Or at least we can say hello to you and maybe finish, the chat with Tony for a few other minutes if you want, Tony.
Yeah, sure. Let's have some time to wrap it up.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, then Xiaochen, well, thanks a lot for your participation. It is always a pleasure to have you with us, and I cannot say how much we are grateful for your participation as a mentor in HyperNest. Thanks a lot for continuously sharing your knowledge, and set new standards for this knowledge sharing.
Thank you very much, and it has always been a pleasure to working with you, and great to meet you, Tony, and looking forward to continue.
Great to meet you, Xiaochen. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Xiaochen. Yeah, I think that we were looking at this super crazy topic of agent to agent exchange of value. Tony, how do you see? I mean, I've seen a few days ago that Base have done the first type of transaction, agent to agent. Well, I don't know if they were claiming to be the first or they were actually the first, but I see this is as one of the most important use case for blockchain and AI. Do you see this in the same way? Do you see other evolution of this type of thing?
No, 100%. This will be big. I mean, I think it was a year ago or something like that, year and a half ago. Vitalik Buterin, in one of his articles, he was basically talking about the use cases on the intersection of blockchain and AI, and I think the first use case he mentioned was the gaming, the agents in gaming. And I mean, that could be agents in gaming, or that could be agents that are like my agent that is trading, or my agent that is I told it that I need to, I don't know, go to this website and participate in some airdrop or whatever. So yeah, basically right now most of the agents in crypto and outside of crypto, they're kind of working by themselves, but very soon they will start interacting between each other. I mean, right now there is a framework by Microsoft called Autogen. It's basically a library to create agents, and there I think it's the only library that is focused specifically on inter-agent communication. But it's still it's basically I'm, as a developer, creating several agents that are talking to each other. And for example, I'm creating a team for writing my content. So there can be an editor, a writer, I don't know, a publisher, and some other ones. But they're still communicating in the team that I created. I haven't still seen any cases where agents of different developers, people, whoever are communicating with each other. And I mean, just communication is not difficult to do, but once you give your agent some way to find and talk to other agents and a way to access some amount of resource, like say crypto, some amount of USDT or whatever, that's when it's becoming very powerful.
Wow. I just, experienced something blowing up in my mind. I think you're touching on a very incredible topic here, because I was at the beginning of our conversation of this small chat. I was thinking about intent-based, right? So the intent-based blockchain is evolving at an incredible speed, and I believe that pretty soon. We're obviously involve agent in what we want to do, right? This is already happening with robot, obviously with the low level of, let's say, complexity, if we can say that, or solvers, right? So I want to get to the most common use case is I want to buy, Ethereum at this price, right? And then you use cow swap, and then there will be solvers all over the world trying to compete to solve this specific intent. But what we often don't consider that there is no limit to the complexity of the intent that we can express. We have now limit in terms of infrastructure. We have limit in terms of solvers. So capability of solving this intent. But I might say, okay, I want to provide liquidity to that specific pool only when the impermanent loss is less than 1% and where the APY in the last 30 days is higher than 5%, and I want to use only assets that are in the top 10, and so on and so forth. So the intent can become much more complex, and as long as it is fulfilled, we'll go through. Therefore, there will be probably agent supporting our intent. But what you have said later that make me think even deeper to that and say, let's slow down for a second, because let's assume that now I want to influence, a governance proposal. And in that specific case, what I can say, I can go to my agent and say, okay, look, let's assuming that I can't use a Sybil attack. For the sake of this discussion, because also I think hopefully we got better at preventing Sybil attack. So what I can do, I can say, look, to my agent, find other agents that are willing to get bribed or to get paid to vote in favor of this proposal, right? And as long as there are other agents on the other side, so other people that are instructing the agents in a complementary manner. So find someone else that want to be bribed, that they want to give you money to vote in that proposal and vote in the direction that this agent wants. There might be in this specific regard. I know where probably where I want to go. So in this specific regard, there might be a collaboration intra-agent for governance or governance attack, if we want to see it in a malicious way, but it might be another way of seeing agents collaborating in the blockchain space.
It's kind of dark, but I don't really see you can call it an agent, but here basically it's just executing, like placing an offer. So in my view, an agent should still use some reasoning. Like if the agent could actually talk other agents into doing something rather than bribing them. Yeah, that for me is a more agentic kind of behavior rather than just bribing. Because bribing for me, it's basically just it's a marketplace. You can create a marketplace for that.
Okay, so you're doubling down on the definition of what is an agent, and the agent, let's say, to call it as such, should have a certain level of reasoning capability. In that case, should be more, let's say, my agent convincing your agent that we need to vote.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's kind of for me, it's a weird use case. I don't think the. Okay, let's imagine. So you have agents that have access to voting. Mm-hmm. But why would you open that agent to the world? I mean, probably, yeah, that will happen in the future when the relations between AI become more complicated. But for now, basically, if you have an agent that you want it to, for example, you gave it all the information about yourself, your beliefs, your portfolio, whatever. Yep. And it basically goes to all the votes, analyzes them, and decides for yourself how to vote.
Yeah.
So in this case, you don't kind of need to open that agent, kind of open a communication channel of that agent to the outside world. Though if for some reason you open it, maybe unintentionally, then yes, it's basically kind of a hacking attack, let's say jailbreaking. If I know that your agent is communicating with that protocol and I can somehow, and by protocol, I mean not blockchain, but whatever, I don't know, it goes to that Telegram channel. Mm-hmm. So I can potentially somehow have my AI agent go to that channel and post something that will make your agent think that you need to do that. So yeah, that might be possible.
Yeah, like writing in a forum, writing in the forum after the proposal.
Yeah,
right?
for something like that. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think how we are really digging deeper in this dark corner that we mentioned before, but I think it's an interesting gymnastic, right? To think
totally
about what could be, possible in the future, and to touch the last topic that we briefly introduced. I think that another important and interesting interconnection between crypto AI, in particular in the area of AI and DeFi, it's definitely related to the growing sector of ZKML, where you use, of course, zero knowledge proof and machine learning to do certain specific magic. And to illustrate it, so for example, right now it's not possible to, of course, run a big model on chain, right? It's completely impossible for several reasons, for hardware requirement and so on and so forth. Therefore, if we want to, for example, have a strategy that predicts the price of, Bitcoin using 1,000 variables, including, the weather that might have or might not have an impact, you could do it for sure, but you will not be able to run it on chain, right? So you need to run it off chain. If this is the case, and you want to have people providing money to this specific pool, why would they need to trust you, right? They probably wouldn't. Hopefully they wouldn't. However, in this specific use case, you can generate a proof that this specific outcome and this historical outcome, ideally created by this model, is always generated by the same system, although it's living off-chain. Basically, the model off-chain is generating a proof that he produced this outcome in the past, and it's producing this outcome today. Therefore, there might be a little bit of the interconnection of what Xiaochen was saying, as blockchain, and in this case ZK as a trust system to say, okay, even if it's living outside, we can still make sure that it's always the same system producing this outcome. And this is one of the use cases that I have in mind, and I think I believe one of the most interesting for DeFi. But what would be your take on that, Tony?
Yeah, that's definitely a great use case, though I think it's outside of my expertise, which is large language models. I think it's more kind of DeFi. I think in DeFi, at least for now, most of the use cases with AI would come from machine learning, prediction, and stuff like that. Not exactly the reasoning, though. What I actually see on the job market a lot, especially from like startups and people who are, not very familiar with the technology. A lot of them they say, okay, I need to use a large language model to trade crypto for me, or like to use DeFi or in a DeFi protocol. And large language models, though, like we see, they have a pretty good level of reasoning. They're very bad in math. So at least for now, obviously you can connect all the additional tools like for math there, but I don't really see much use case for specifically LLM reasoning there right now. I'm pretty sure there will be in the next month and years. But for now, DeFi, I think it's more about machine learning and predictive AI.